This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah, hi everyone. So today we are going to discuss about our next module, cloud formation. The cloud formation is the most important for all infrastructure management in cloud. So in this, this cloud formation is more into the code, like infrastructure as a code. It is kind of engineering task. You can design the entire environment using a template, and you can just execute the template, and template will create the stack. The stack will create the actual resources, whatever the resources you want. So that's why you can spend more time on this. Just still, it is really worth. So before proceeding, what is cloud formation? What is cloud formation? Is cloud formation is infrastructure as a code. Infrastructure as a code, and it is easy to create and manage the AWS resources, and you can update resources whenever you want, and you can maintain the different versions of the your infrastructure also. For example, you have the infrastructure running in your company. Suppose like you have the big infrastructure is running with many components like servers, databases, applications, and many components are involved. So one day something happened to Virginia region. You can use that template, the same template to deploy the every infrastructure in other region. You can deploy in 2 minutes. So that means this is completely engineering task. The template is kind of engineering task where you can get ready of your program. So that is the one more important. Now coming to in this, what we are going to do. So it is easy and it is free service. You no need to pay anything for this template. It is just file. It is just notepad. So after creating the resources are chargeable, and you can maintain the multiple versions and quick deployment. I just deployed the server, right? Imagine you have the one application running with multiple components and all the script all the need you need to execute that program will create entire infrastructure. Imagine there is a new application need for the business. You can just run the script, that program will create the entire your business application. So for we have like different customers. You have different customers. Customers is asking different applications. So you just need to you need a Java server. You need a Java server, a server with Java installed and application also installed, and the entire program is considered into one template, and you can run that template. That template will create the entire infrastructure. So like that, it is the it's kind of ready template. The main purpose of this is like one thing you can keep it. One thing is you can keep this as a reference. The second thing is you can use for the you want to create the multiple environments same time, multiple servers with the same template you can create. Not only server, I'm talking more about server, your infrastructure, whatever it is. It may be networking. You want the one VPC. Suppose there is a one template. There is a one template. The template need the entire infrastructure. The entire infrastructure. That means like including your VPC, subnets, routing tables, security groups, and your firewalls, and also ACLs, and everything is included in one template, and also integrating with on-premises and different routes. You can create with all the details in one template, and you can execute the template. Then it is creating the subnet and VPC and all. One day the company is asking, I need a new VPC with so and so subnet. You just need to change the IP address of the interface. That is also not provided in the script. That is as a input parameter. You can pass that as a input parameter, and you can execute the program. Then it is ready to build. Okay, that way, like many use cases, like we have many scenarios where we can use this template. Okay, these templates are transparent and open and declarative, and customize. You can customize the parameter, customize the via parameter. That means, like for example, I have a template. I have a template to create a volume. So the volume you can create. So by passing the input parameter, like once you execute that volume related template, then it will ask you how much volume you want. Then you can provide the how much volume, 50 GB. Then it is creating the 50 GB. Like you can change the parameter, how much volume, how much what kind of volume you want, like that. So you can no extra charges. You no need to reinvent, because that's the same template you can redeploy in multiple times so that you can get the same servers. For example, there is a one web server you can create using template, like multiple web servers. Customer is asking after 1 month the business is growing, they need the one more web server. You don't need to redesign the entire stuff. You just execute that template, will create the another thing, and it is adding to the your auto scaling, and it is all set. So this way, this is really amazing. Okay, so that is the one more important. So like imagine there is a, before proceeding this, any questions here, anyone? Balaji, you understand this? Hitendra or anyone?
So Reddy sir, basically you are saying that whatever works get done in like in companies, that is mainly basically they do through templates only, various templates.
Exactly. Whatever till now we learn, that is not useful anymore. That is
Got
not the truth. But to understand this template, to create the template, to manage the template, you need to know what is server, how the parameters, and what is S3, what is in S3, what we are doing, how we are managing, everything we need to know. That's why we learn all the stuff.
got it. Got it. Thank you, sir.
So, like for example, imagine there is a big application is running with one server, database, and so many components, volumes, and all the things you can create in one template. That is ready-made template. So you want the same application in multiple regions, just you need to run this script. That's all. So that is the way how the template is working. It's very easy. And the main thing what we can do in CloudFormation. So that means like the components are like one is template, CloudFormation, and stack. So you have the template that you can pass through the CloudFormation. That CloudFormation is creating the stack. The stack is going to create the your resources, server, database, application, whatever the components are there, it is creating. So we need to understand one by one what is template, how the template is working, what are the parameters in template, and everything we need to work on. And then how you are passing through the CloudFormation and how you are creating the stack, and we will understand one by one. So at least you understand, oh, there is a program that is the template. That template you need to pass through the CloudFormation. That's what I did while creating the server. Then that CloudFormation will create the stack. The stack is going to create the actual servers or components and all. So now coming to here, we are going to discuss about the CloudFormation template meaning. This is the main important thing. This is the most important thing we need to understand. Any questions?
Sir, by using this template, we can launch or we can configure, I mean, like hosting websites in multiple zones also, sir.
Anywhere, anything you can do.
Okay, at a time in the same template.
Yeah, anything you can do using this. Like, for example, take the server. You can create the server. You can create the server in different region. You can create different data center. You can create in different accounts. You can update the parameters like CPU, memory, or hardware. You can upgrade this volume whenever the customer is required, and you can maintain the multiple copies also. You can maintain the multiple versions as well, and you can also feed to this template to the UI for the Java UI. So that Java UI, that's the way, that's the reason. Like nowadays there is a hundreds, thousands of people got selected in India, from India for in India, right? from India, hundreds of people, the college people, freshers are got selected for in companies. The reason is the background. The background there is a CloudFormation template is working. So in the background, the actual infrastructure is creating by us. The actual resources are by the AWS. To understand the AWS resources, then that is created the servers and all through the template. This template is passing through UI. That UI, what they say, like, okay, creating user. So creating server, suppose, for example, click on the creating server. There, the next step, it is asking Azure or Google Cloud or whatever it is. Then Azure, suppose, or Google Cloud. Click on the Google Cloud and it is asking what model server, what keywords and all. Then submit. Then the server is created and the server is assigning to the team with mail and everything is ready. Just the customer, whoever is the requested this request, and he just can connect to the server. He can start his Java application or whatever it is. Also, they can mention the application also. So they just start working. That's all. They no need to do anything. These guys no need to do anything, nothing. So even these guys, the fresher, like 1 year or 1 year or just 0 years also, for them it is nothing. They don't know that they are working in AWS. Even they don't know that they are working on AWS. They have one UI and they are submitted. That's all. The background is script is working. You understand what I mean? Ethan, they got this whole process.
Yep, sir.
So that's the reason, like, it's very easy job for these people. If they, while deploying, if it is fail or something, they will create the ticket with our AWS engineer. Then we can modify the parameters or whatever it is. So that is the whole process. The CloudFormation template is the very much important. So I hope everyone understand how this whole process is going on. Anyone, any confusion, questions? So then coming to the template is a declarative of AWS resources that make a stack. Just now we discussed, right? So this template you can write in this template you can write in any language, and not any language, two languages. I will explain. So before that, what is template exactly? The CloudFormation template. So it is like reusable. I just explained, right? You just use a number of times the same program. And if it is fail, something like if you are not provided proper resources and all, it will give you the work, it will give you the information like so and so resource is not creating, so and so issue, like that. You can see the entire stuff also. That is also second point. And also there is no conflict with other resources, and you can see like automation is ready. Okay, just now I explained, right, the automation process. So like familiar with JSON format, I will explain. These days it is supporting for the OAML format as well, and managing relationships with the multiple components also. Like for example, you want to create a server and you can assign one security group, and so you can create a relation between security group and this also. Like many components we can manage with relationship and all. So that is the CloudFormation template. In this template, we have the multiple components we need to understand. Before proceeding, any questions? Then coming to the components, you guys need to focus more on these components, because these components are the actual program. So, for example, if you write a program, while writing the program, what are the different components we have? That is the most important. For example, imagine this is your template. If you take your template, leave about brackets for some time, then you need to understand what is this formation, what is this description, what is resource, what is the properties. We need to understand all these components. What are the properties and all the components we need to understand. So if you understand this, then it's very easy to write a program. So in these components, like if you want to write a program, you want to write a JSON script or YAML script, So the CloudFormation will support two languages. One is the JSON script. Don't worry about how to write and all. I will explain JSON script. The second one is the YAML script. YAML script. Two types of scripts it is supporting. So just remember, I will explain what is JSON, what is YAML. But while writing, you need some components, right? So like, for example, if you are writing C++ program, there is a format like input, output format, how everything. So in the same way, here some of the components are. So the first two components we are understanding about format version. Version. Version means like it's very simple and straightforward. Some of the components we discussed it just now is mandatory. Some of the components are just optional. Just remember that. So even if you, without providing this version, your program will execute because this is not mandatory. But still it is better to provide the version, and you no need to remember this version. You no need to by heart this version because this is always the same. So this is the version where we are writing the our JSON format. Okay, that AWS is provided this version from long time, and we are using the same version. So we no need to change the version. This is always fixed. So no need to remember that is 2020 09 is the this one. And also you need to use the CloudFormation version is the one of the component in our program. It is the first line of the program. It is the optional. It is not mandatory. This number is always same. You no need to by heart, no need to remember. Just while writing the program also, you can see by default this one. Like for example, if I go to the AWS, I'm trying to create one stack here. While creating the stack, while creating your own program, so for example, while creating your own program, by default, it will give you the template. So create a template. By default, it will give you the version, what version it is giving you like that. So that's why you no need to remember. From this, you can write the program. That's all. So that's why you no need to remember the versioning. So if anyone, any questions about versioning, please go ahead. I will explain again if not clear about what is versioning. So then coming to description. Description is the just AWS template format version. You need to remember this word, that's all. So description is the one of the component. So it is just comment. Comment means this is also not mandatory. This is the description is just comment. It is also not mandatory. You can create, you can provide if you want, otherwise you can ignore. So, but this is not like that. This is the different and this is the different one. Okay. So now you are very much clear about what is template format version and what is description. If anyone not clear about description, let me know.
We are clear, sir.
So anyone, because this is comment, wherever you want to give the comment, you can give the comment. We need to understand the comment, these terminologies. Description, you are clear. Format version, you are clear. Now coming to metadata. Metadata is same as the description. If you want multiple descriptions you are mentioning, that time you can use the metadata. Description 1, description 2, description 3, multiple descriptions you need. You can say metadata under that description 1, description 2, description 3, like that. You can use the metadata. So this is the one more important point. Okay. Now coming to if everyone understand these three components, we'll go to the rest of resource. This is the most important parameter before
Sir, the
proceeding.
metadata is also optional, right?
This is also optional. These two are the comments only, but multiple lines of comments, then you go for metadata. Single comment means description. Format version, you understand. But resource is the actual component. Without resource, your program will not execute. That means like a resource is the mandatory program, so mandatory parameter. So in that resource, we need to provide the resource name, resource type, properties of the resource. So this is the main important. Imagine resource, resource name, resource type, and properties of the resource. You need to remember these three skills. This is only you need to remember. Can you try to remember like resources, resource name, type of the resource, and properties of the resource? So up to these two are common. Up to, don't worry, don't think about brackets and all. Okay, I will explain about that. It's very easy. Don't worry. Only thing is you just focus on, oh, there is a resource is the mandatory. So resource name. You can give any name. If you want to create the S3 bucket, give the S3 bucket. That's all. If you want to create the some security group, give the security group like that. That means you are just mentioning the resource name. You can give any name. So first of all, resource is the one of the component in CloudFormation. It is the main mandatory component. This component has the three things like resource name, resource type, and properties of the resource. Now, if you understand that what resource you are creating, what type of resource it is, like under AWS EC2 related instance you are creating. If you want to create IP address, just IP. That's all. If you want to create the volume, volume. So whatever the component you want to create, you need to provide the component related. Any questions, anyone? Resource type, meaning this is the most important component in template. The reason is based on this, there is a one Python program in AWS, that is AWS will take care. Corresponding to deploy the server related program is coming and it is taking these parameters and it is creating. That's why make sure this property should be like whatever the resource you are creating, based on that you need to provide. So I hope everyone understand this point. If anyone not clear about this point, let me know. I will explain one more time. Hitendra, that this point.
Yep.
This is really important. Balaji, any other people?
Sir, then if resource type changes means the properties image ID that will be also changes, right? If you see resources S3, if you mention the same lines will be there, types of properties image ID something like that.
Yeah, for everything. Resource means like, see, for example, that's what I told you, right? While creating the server, you want to create a server, imagine. So whatever you want to give, like as a mandatory parameters. Like for example, if I go here, like this is optional. Without giving this also, it will create, right?
Yeah.
Without providing this AMI, you can't. The system will not create.
Yes, sir.
Previously, now they are added default AMI is their own AMI. You understand?
Yes, sir.
But you need to provide your AMI, Windows Server or Linux server. You need to provide, right? What version?
Yes, sir.
Imagine in company, your company, you got the requirement like I need Linux server or I need Windows server like that, right? Got it or not?
Yeah, yes.
So those parameters you need to pass. What model server, what key you need to provide. These are all of the parameters. Without this, how the system will understand what you need?
Yeah. So basically all mandatory parameters which we pass during the creation, those all parameters has to be there in the, while in the properties, so that it can exactly create the same type of resource what we want.
Resources, exactly. Based on whatever the resources you are providing as a parameters. Means properties, not parameter. Parameter concept is different. properties. You need to give the properties to a resource. So you want to create a resource called like instance. Instance means server. For server, what are the mandatory fields? Like you need to give the AMI, otherwise system will not understand you need Linux or Windows, right?
Got it. Mm-hmm.
So system will not understand what more it will understand. They will give you big server. Don't to go for like this. Without this, it will work.
Yeah, that's why specification is important, because exactly what kind of hardware you want.
You want and all you need to provide, and what kind of key you want you need to provide. Otherwise, it will not create the resources. You will leave about a CloudFormation few minutes. I'm creating the server, right? While creating the server, like launch instance, then it is asking mandatory component. So can you see that it is asking mandatory? If I say launch, it is saying you need to provide this. Without that, I can't proceed.
Yep.
In the program also, without this, it can't proceed.
Got it.
Whatever the components are mandatory means without providing that, the system will not understand. Imagine you are creating one S3 bucket, S3, right? You want to create a S3 bucket using CloudFormation template. So in this, like I want to create a bucket. What do you need exactly? Without bucket name, you can't proceed. So the property of the property here is, suppose now you can modify. I am talking about S3 under that bucket. The property is bucket name equal to bucket, your name of the bucket you need to provide. You can remove these because these are not related to that. Here the property is bucket name, bucket bucket equal to bucket name of the bucket. Bucket equal to name of the bucket is SCVM, so one SCVM example. You understand?
Yep. Clear, sir.
If you want to create a user, IAM, under that, whatever the IAM parameter, while creating it will give you what are the parameters are mandatory. Otherwise, I will show you what is the mandatory, what is not mandatory. So like that, the mandatory components are, suppose if I give like SUVEN, KVR, KVR, TEK, LAB, slabs. Suppose if I say KVR Tech Labs, only parameter you need is the bucket name. That's all. That's why I have a templates here to create a bucket. If you go to the bucket creation, nothing you can do. The resource name, resource type is, because this type is the most important. If anyone not clear inside the point, let me know, I will explain. Because that is the only program based on this type. One agent is coming and it is taking all the parameters and it is creating the corresponding resource. That's all. So now here the bucket name equal to bucket, whatever bucket. You got it, I think, right?
Yep.
Everyone understand the resource meaning, what is resource, how resource is working, what are the components of the resource and all. Components means like one is resource name, resource type, and properties of the resource. In these properties, you can give the mandatory properties or some optionally some. If you are not provided component, it will take the default one. You got it?
Yep.
So then coming to the mapping. Mapping means sometimes you can provide this is very much important mapping. Before proceeding mapping, we can go with the parameters. Parameter is the really important component. The parameter means you can pass the input parameter when writing the program. You can pass the input parameter while writing the program. Suppose imagine if you execute this program, every time this is the template it is creating, right? You
Yeah.
understand?
Yeah, so that you can just whatever name you want, just put it as input parameter, so that the next time when it runs, you just put the input parameter and that name it will take.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that means like, see, for example, so if you pass the input parameter for this, if you pass the input parameter for this server deployment, so instead of giving this AMI, it will ask you, are you looking for Windows or Linux? You can provide if you Windows or Linux AMI, so that it will create the based on that. I hope everyone understand this name. Any questions? So that is the input parameter. So how input parameter is working and all, I will explain. Before that any questions, anyone will talk about all these things, don't worry. So the input parameter, how the parameter is working and all, I will explain. Before proceeding, any questions, the meaning, like what is parameter? So, for example, in this program, we'll understand how the parameter is working. So, if this is not mandatory, you can ignore that for some time. This is also not mandatory, you can ignore that if you want, otherwise you can keep it that. So, this is the parameter. This is the parameter. So, here we are not mentioning, it will leave about parameter few minutes, resource name, resource type, and properties of the resource. You understand this? In this property, we are not mentioning any AMI. So we are referencing for my AMI, go to the parameter to get the image from input. That means while executing this program, it will ask you what kind of AMI you need. What kind of key you need. It will ask you. Based on that, you can provide your own AMI now. You understand?
Yes.
Don't try to understand program. Just the meaning of parameter you need to understand.
Yes, sir. We need to give input, right?
Exactly, that's what. Like I told you, right? In one example, the fresher example. So this program, that UI, that GUI, like with some Java program and all, this program they are giving feed to that, and they are providing the input parameters. Suppose if I want to create a one CloudFormation template using suppose, like, just give me 1 second, create a template. I'm using, we'll talk about this in next class, all these things, how we can execute, how we can provide and all. I will give you excellent knowledge, don't worry. Only thing is, you guys need to spend more time, because this is little programming. So how much time these days, how much time you spend on technology, this is really worth. We will get excellent. How much time people are working, that much money they will get it. Can you see this EC2 stack, EC2 stack? Can you see that this? It is asking what the AMI, what key. It
Yep.
is
Yes, sir.
asking parameters. So without that, it can't proceed.
Yes, sir. Initially, did not ask anything with the initial template.
Yeah, exactly. Usually it will not anything, but now it is input parameter. It is asking. Got it?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
So here you can provide whatever AMI you want. I need Linux server, so I can provide the Linux AMI. So for this AMI also, in companies we never use this name. For that we can give the tags. Tags means like alias names for this. So they can use the corresponding to that here. So for them it is easy to remember, instead of number and these things. So they know what component it is and all. So based on the tags. So that's all. You are all set. So that's all, we are all set, and it is creating the server. So now it is creating big server because we are not mentioned any hardware in that. So if you want to mention hardware in this program, you need another parameter instead of key. You need to along with key, you need to add one more keyword here is the hardware instance type and instance type equal to T2 micro. You understand what I mean? So we already mentioned here. So instead of that, I want different model. You guys understanding? So here instance instead of this, you can say instance type. Then you can refer here. Got it?
Yeah.
So here we need to mention like refer instance type.
So yeah, you need to refer. You need to refer to whatever the name here. Instead of this, you need to refer to this instance type. You understand, right? What meaning? So you need to refer here instance type so that it will go directly. It will ask you one more parameter. Now that parameter is don't scare about this bracket. Just give me another 1-2 hours. Maybe you'll get more comfortable with this. Okay. We have another language AML instead of this. Uh, we can write the program in that. Okay. So now what it will ask you? It will ask you another parameter called like T2 micro. What model server you want? You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
So this way we can set up like our own mission and all. Now it is created. If anything fail, it will display. So now it is creating the EC2 instance and all the things. Okay. Now if you see, you can see there is a server is deploying by taking the input parameter from you. Like by taking input parameter from you means what kind of model server you want, what kind of hardware you want, what kind of operating system you want. It is taking all input parameters from you and it is creating the your own instance. So that is the way how this cloud formation is working. Okay, the template working, the resource meaning we understand. Now we are very clear about parameter. If anyone not clear about the meaning, don't try to understand the program and all. I just want you to make you understand about what parameter does. Okay, the parameter is doing only thing is it is taking the input parameter and based on that program will execute and create the resources. That is the most important. Anyone any questions here before going to mapping and condition and output? So yeah, everyone any questions? The other people are everyone understanding, I think. Rashmi, are you understanding? Rashmi, could you please call me one time whenever you get the time? You are in Pune, right?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, Rashmi. Yeah.
No, I'm in USA.
Oh, you are in it. Someone from Pune, I think. I don't know who is that person. Yeah, Rashmi, you also called me sometime today afternoon. Okay.
Sure, okay.
Yeah. So now coming to, we understand like what is format of the version, like then description you understand, like a metadata. See, metadata is parameter, metadata, description 1, description 2, like that. Whenever you want multiple descriptions, you can use that. And parameters, we just understand parameter is this is also optional. This is not mandatory, but it is in company it is really mandatory because we never use like same components always, right? We need the different components, different things and all. So then coming to conditions. Before going to conditions and mapping. Mapping means like, see, this is very much important, Hitendra. So how, Hitendra, you please, sorry for I was not able to respond to you. So today, 2 o'clock, we can schedule for our task. Okay, you can call me at any moment. We will finish the task in 2 o'clock.
Okay, sir. Sure. I will call
Yeah,
after.
over weekend my brain was completely dead. So
No, no problem.
yesterday I take my kids out and tulip
Yep,
show.
yep. Fully,
Did you
fully
hear that tulip show?
yep, yep.
There is a
Understood.
huge crowd actually. Huh?
Yep, yeah, understood, sir. I will call today.
Yeah, yeah. So now coming to this is mapping means, see, mapping is really important, very much important. The reason is like, see, for example, just now someone Balaji asked me, can we use the same template in another? Yes, we can use the same template, but the AMIs are different in each one. AMIs are different from each template, right? Each region. You understand the meaning? Hitendra, you got this point?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
The AMI is different or same? Balaji?
Why will be different, sir?
AMIs are region specific. If you see one AMI in Virginia, you don't see the same AMI in California.
Oh, okay. I did not notice, sir.
Yeah, they are the region specific. In that scenario, you want to execute the same program, but if you assign one AMI in Virginia, so it will not execute in California. So if you map the value, like if it is Virginia, take this. If it is the California, take this. If it is the like Singapore, take this AMI. Like that, we can map the values. Otherwise, if you are creating Linux server, use so key. If it is the Windows server, use this key. Like many scenarios, we can use this. The meaning, if you understand the meaning, then we can use the same mapping wherever you want. Got it?
Yeah, clear.
Yes, sir.
So this is the one more most important mapping meaning. Then condition. Condition also we can refer like some condition. If it is like, we can mention some functions also we need to understand. Functions we need to understand. I will explain more on this that no one will know. Whoever is learning, working guys, they might know, but whoever is attending interview, they are not strong enough to explain all these things. Definitely, we will discuss a lot here. So the functions and if function is equal to Singapore, I mean my security group, refer to security group, like that. If condition is like that, that means we can say like condition, we can just don't try to understand anything here. The meaning you can understand. Condition means like if condition, for example, functions means it is the if condition, like that. If it is the Linux server, if it is the satisfied like Linux server, then you use this condition, like some condition you can use, like that. I will show you some examples, then you can understand the meaning of condition is we are referring some condition actually. So you can create the this equal to this. Don't try to understand again here. So imagine there is a security group you are assigning. If it is the condition is networks also network, then you can assign this like that. If the network is condition is network is development network, assign this. If you are creating your development network VPC, something subnet or something, then use that. If it is the development network, and then use this content. In this condition only, assign this security group, like that. Just some conditions. Then coming to resources, we already understand. Then output means like whatever this is very easy and important. So like that means like we created something resource now, right? Whenever you created the resource, you want to know what resource you created. You want to know what resource you created here. The output will give you the information, whatever the resource you created. Suppose like the output means like, see, for example, if I go to the stack details, so there is output. Can you see this output? Here it is not showing what you did in this program as of now. We executed some program and it created something. What it is created, you don't no clue, right? If you mention this output equal to something, this output equal to whatever information you mentioned, that information is displaying here in the in this output, so that it will display the same value. That is the most important. So go ahead, any questions here? Anyone, any confusion?
So by default, there is no output comes over here. When you mention it, then only it will display over here.
Yeah, exactly. Whenever we mention, then only it will display what you created, what exactly happened, what you want exactly, it will display it. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
Got it, right?
Mm-hmm.
The output meaning. We are understanding each component related, like what are the components here. So output component is optional and all. So that is the one thing we need to understand. If you go to the description, resource, output, and template, we already understand all these components. So like parameter meaning you understand, resource meaning you understand, output meaning you understand. Sometimes reference, REF reference. Can you see this reference? The reference means like you want to use the same thing in multiple places. You can refer, instead of writing the same in multiple places, you can refer the same thing. You understand?
Yeah.
Suppose the key pair, like key pair, you want to use the same key pair for multiple servers, right? So
Mm-hmm.
instead of each server, you want to create the key pair. Instead of that, just you can go to the key pair, refer to key pair. Here, the value for key pair is refer to EC2 instance, means it is going to this, like the references. Balaji, you understand this point?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, because this is very much important. Reference is like you want to use the same value, like suppose x equal to 10. So x equal to 10 and the 10 value you want to refer wherever you want to use in your program, refer to x. So instead of everywhere x equal to 10, x equal to 10, x equal to 10, I don't want to use that. You understand?
Yes,
So
sir.
that way we can, yeah, that way we can refer this. So that is the reference meaning. Refer, just refer, and we can use that option. That's very much important. So everyone understand, I think, refer meaning, resource meaning, and the output meaning. Just now I explained that. So then we will go with the like the actual programs and all that we will discuss tomorrow. How to start programming and how to maintain the parameters, key pairs, and how to start executing the program and how these programs works and all the condition also. Just now I explained about some condition related, right? The mapping east one use this AMI, US east one use this AMI. Yes, like south east, AP southeast, like Singapore, you can use this AMI. Like that, we can mention that. So the same template, whenever you are executing, based on that, where you are executing, it will take the corresponding AMI and it will create the resources. This is looking like small, but it's very much important, right, Itendra?
Yes, sir.
Instead of giving in each region, then for example, you want to create a server, find a region and refer AWS region. Can you see this refer AWS region? So that means refer, it is referring to AMI for region. It is referring to region. It is going to region map. Can you see this region map?
Mm-hmm.
Refer means it will, refer will work like that. How, like, where can I find the AMI? Where can I find the AMI? Yes, you can go to the map. I mean, you can go to the region. In that region, you can refer to regions, all the regions. Like, we'll talk more about this, don't worry. But at least outline, you just need to understand the terminology, how the reference is working, how the mapping is working, how the resource is working. So based on that, we can write the programs. And also there is some functions we have. Those functions we need to understand all these functions. The functions get ATT, get availability zones, get join, get select, and AWS notifications and regions, stack ID. These two pseudonames and all we will discuss on tomorrow. Okay. So I think we are
Sir,
good now. Yeah.
is this Terraform?
No. Terraform is the competitor for this.
Oh, okay. For CloudFormation.
No, the same thing you can do using Terraform also.
Yeah.
Whatever we are doing here, right? The same thing you can perform using Terraform also. But
Okay.
Terraform is for independent for the platform. Like if Terraform, you can use the Terraform for any platforms. It may be Azure, Google Cloud, or AWS or Oracle. Like any cloud platform, you can create the services, infrastructure as a code for anything. But this cloud formation is only for AWS.
Oh,
AWS service.
okay. Got it.
Yeah, that means like you can use the
So we
any
are
kind.
having ready-made templates, or we need to write as per our requirement?
We need to write for program, but there is a ready-made programs also, but we can create our own this thing as well. We can also we can also uh, write program based on our requirement. For example, if you go here, like for example, if you see this template, now you guys can understand now. You guys can easily understand, right? Like for example, resource name, resource type, and metadata. You understand up to this easily, right? Everyone.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now you are like only you are calling a CloudFormation init program, and you want to install the all softwares in this. That means like init is the one of the program. So init is the one of the program. That program will call all the any of the this thing. So that means installing package and expanding files like so. That means you can install some software also in the Linux server. The source is it's clearly saying from source where can I get this program. This is the program. So like example, we can say like all these things. Okay. Now coming to yeah, these parts we will discuss like tomorrow, like how we can manage and that we can understand. Now you guys can easily understand the templates. Till tomorrow we will easily understand the templates. Okay. These templates we will discuss Linux related, Windows Server creation, parameters creation, and volume creation, snapshot creation, VPC creation. Like one by one, we will discuss. And after discussing, then we can start the practice, the lab section, and all you can easily understand. So, any questions, anyone? Yeah, thanks everyone. Then we'll meet tomorrow.
Thank you, sir.